If you're stuck animating a basic blink that leaves your character looking meh, or you've never animated a blink before, let me walk you through my process of how you can make this when you don't have a lot of time and you want to skip the beginner mistakes. All I ask for is 10 minutes of your time. And if you're new here, hi, I'm Sarah Malka. I'm constantly trying to find time to make my fun personal projects, but job, kids, exhaustion, they all tend to get in the way. Hey, does any of that sound familiar? Which is why I'm sharing my secret on how to make professional blinks. Now let's jump into it because this intro has taken long enough. One thing I really love about blinks is that they're very hard to mess up. So if you're a perfectionist or you feel the need to make everything you do perfect, I definitely get it. The best thing about a blink is that it goes by so fast. It's very few frames. And most times people are not going to catch the mistakes unless you're making those beginner mistakes, where they'll just think something looks a little off. But how can you make those blinks so that they actually look good? Let's dive into it and double check our layers are set up properly. So if you go into layers, I have my layers arranged so that they're in the right order. If you have your entire character and they have a face, that's going to be the bottommost layer, and now layer it as you would animate it. So the next layer up would be the whites of the eyes, which would be this area here. Then the pupils would be the next layer. Then your mask, I'll turn this on and off so you can see. It's covering up my eyes so that you only see what's inside the eyes. Since everything is outlined, I have my outline on top. This would also be the layer where you would draw your eyelids, both the top and the bottom ones. And on the very topmost layer is the rest of the illustration, the rest of the drawings, the nose, the mouth, the freckles. If you were to animate them, you'd put them all in separate layers, except maybe the freckles, because those would be part of the cheeks. Different story. Now that I have all of those layers checked that they're in the right order, I'm going to group them together. And now I get to turn on Animation Assist. Now you think you're ready to animate, and you are, except for one important thing. You need to know what the difference is between what a beginner will do and what a professional does for this blink. And beginners tend to make two common mistakes. I know about them because I definitely made them when I started out. And the two common beginner mistakes is closing the eyes at the exact same speed for all of the drawings. I don't know if you can see my fingers, they're slowly closing at the same time. Most eyes will blink like that. There's an ease in and ease out, where you slowly go and then snap shut. That is what a professional animator would do. Number two, I don't think I've heard this one talked about as much, but number two is that beginners will sometimes forget to move the bottom eyelid up. Because when you close your eyes, in fact, take a blink right now. I don't know if you can see or if the camera's too far away, but when I blink, my top eyelid isn't the only one moving. The bottom eyelid is moving too. So together, they're closing the eye. You don't have to move the bottom eyelid so that it's in the center. You definitely don't. I won't even be doing that here. But you do need to do it to give it a little bit more of that realism. That's the mistakes that the beginner will make. But I think I mentioned that there's also the way the professional will approach this. Granted, the professional will make those changes where they will close the eyelid at different speeds and move the bottom eyelid up and not just the top one. But other animation, they're called principles of animation if you haven't heard about them. Or if you have, you can let me know. But the principles of animation that a professional will use here are things like anticipation, which is, how do I put this? Anticipation is pretty much you are telling somebody, hey, something is about to happen here, look at this. And then you have your main action. Then you have ease in, ease out, or slow in, slow out. And that is more about how fast or how slow an action starts or stops. And then the third principle of animation that professionals will probably use here, or at least I know I'm using them, is that timing, which is how far apart the drawings are. I know I just said a bunch of principles of animation. I'm not sure if you've heard of them or not. If you have, or if you haven't, can you comment yes or no down below? And then we can get into animating. I'm going to duplicate, and I'm going to select my eye outline. I can use this as my tracing where I am at point A and point B. I'm going to have my eyelids be closed. I'm going to erase. And just as a little trick, if you turn your drawing assist on because you have the symmetry tool, that's how I drew this, then you can go ahead and just erase on both sides and animate without having to do twice as much work. Now I'm just going to bring the bottom eyelid up, and now I'll erase the rest. If we could flip back and forth, we can see a basic look. But you need a few more frames to be filled in, a few more drawings to make this look professional. So I'm going to quickly go through this for you. I'm going to play it. And now you can see that we're starting to get that really good blink. I've started by having that ease in, ease out. The drawings are all really close together. The eyes are slowly closing and then they snap shut. That's where this really fast drawing where the eyelid is closed in half, and then it gets that snap. And you can see that the bottom eyelids are moving up slightly, but they're not actually moving all that much. But there's a problem here, and the problem is the pupil is being shown and it's not supposed to because your eyes don't show when the eyelids close. That is where the mask comes in. So if I was to color with my white, I'm going to show you what that looks like. I'm going to speed this up again. And let's play it. It's pretty good, but we're going to add one more little piece that's really going to take this to a professional level. Ready? It's going to be that anticipation I was talking about. This is going to be the movement that says, look, something's about to happen. It's usually the opposite action. Instead of our eyes closing, you go to your first frame, you duplicate it, and now you want to make the eyes widening. Let me show you what that looks like. All right, now to show you what that one frame did for this animation. It's looking great, right? And if you wanted to take this one step further to really make your animation absolutely amazing and professional looking, you want to move the eyebrows too, because eyebrows are what you would consider a soft space. Think of skin as a soft source and bone as a hard source. If you bend a bone the wrong way, it's going to break. If you bend skin, it just squishes. If you jiggle your eyebrows, I know it sounds really weird, but if you jiggle your eyebrows, you feel it moving. And if you scrunch your eyes down, those eyebrows come down too. You raise them up in a surprise expression, they raise up. So in this case, we're going to add a little bit of movement to our eyebrows. Again, it doesn't take much, and you don't even have to draw everything out. I'm going to show you how you can select just the eyebrows and just move them up and down. Very minimal work. It looks jittery because we haven't done the second half of the blink yet. This is the last part. You could draw the rest of the frames out. I've definitely done it, but since we're trying to wrap this up in 10 minutes, I'm going to just quickly duplicate and just start dragging them opposite. That trick works if you don't have a lot of frames, which is perfect for just a blink. Let's play it one final time. This took me about 20 minutes to animate, and I need to tell you something if this is your first time doing it. It's going to take you longer. Not as long as probably it just popped into your head, and the best way is to think of it like this. You find a new recipe to try, and the prep and cook time say that it's supposed to take like 20 minutes. So you make the recipe, but it takes you 30 minutes. Next, you decide that you've liked the dish so much that you're going to make it again. And the next time you do it, it takes you 25 minutes. You make it again, and it takes you the original 20 minutes that the recipe said that it's supposed to take to prep and cook and make it. And then after you've made it so many times because you really like doing it, you start adding your own variations and flavors to it, and you make it completely your own. And it tastes absolutely amazing. It's the same thing with this blink. And you practice it, you do it, and it doesn't take that long, and you get faster and faster, and then you start to make your own variations. Like, here's a couple of ideas of taking this basic blink and then making even more versions of it. It's a lot of fun to add a little bit of personality to your characters through animation. And if you're into character animation or you want to explore this further, I highly suggest you check out this video of mine where it goes into what is the #1 time saver that I can recommend to you to save you time when you start animating your characters.